You look around the world and it seems like the problem is greed. Everybody consuming more than they really need, fulfilling these superficial desires, and you think, well, we've got to stop that. We've got to control our greed and our selfishness and our consumerism. But maybe all of that is just a symptom of something else. Like, when do people consume? It's because they're hungry. But maybe what they're hungry for isn't actually the things that they're consuming. Maybe they're hungry for something else. I think what we're hungry for is our lost connections, our lost world of intimacy and authentic connection to other people, to nature, to place, the feeling of being at home in the universe, the feeling of belonging. What's natural for a human being is to look around and you know every face so intimately, and they know you so intimately that there's no question of pretending. You feel solid in who you are, you're known. That's one of the deep human needs. It's to know and to be known. Other needs are to play, to love and to be loved, the need for touch, the need to explore our boundaries, the need to look at every plant and every animal and every landform and every stream, everything around us, and to know that these are intimate companions. We know their stories, we know their names, we've had experiences with them. This web of connection is something that's missing today in a commodified, money-based society where people move in, they move out, they don't form strong connections with people. And it's not because, we're bad and, shame on you for not forming strong connections. It's the whole system is set up that way. Nobody really likes it. Nobody's really happy in it. But we're cast into this world of separation and we don't know how to get out. And maybe we don't even know. We don't even know what's missing. All we feel is that there's something missing and we're hungry for it. And that hunger is what generates so much of our compulsive, addictive consumption. So money creates separation in two ways, or well, more than two ways. But one way, just on a really basic level, so say that we're neighbors and you come over and you say, Charles, I need to borrow your table saw or something like that. And sure, I let you borrow my table saw and you use it for a week maybe, and then you give it back to me. And you don't give me something in return. It's not barter. You just thank you, But now, if I need to borrow something from you, I feel free to do that because you kind of owe me one. It's not an explicit agreement, but I feel able now to ask you for something in return, and you're happy to give me something in return. So that transaction, that's a gift transaction. The use of the table saw is a gift. I'm not giving you the table saw, but I'm giving you the use of it. And it's a gift, and a gift creates a bond. It creates a tie between two people. You could even say it creates an obligation. In the world of money, in the world of separation, people don't want that. People don't want to owe anybody anything. They want to be independent. So maybe in the world of separation, I lend you the table saw and you're like, okay, Charles, can I pay you for that? How much do I owe you for the rental of your table saw? And basically when you're doing that, you're saying, I don't want to be connected to you. I don't want to owe you one. I want this transaction to be closed, to be done. You've given me something, I've given you money, I've given you something, and we have no further bond, no further obligation or tie. So money creates closed transactions. The transaction's over. I've gotten something, you've gotten something, and we need have no further connection. Whereas a gift transaction creates ties. So you can see what happens if you're in a community of people, many, many people, a circle of people, and everybody's giving stuff to everybody else, everybody's lending stuff to everybody else, then ties are created all over the place. Everybody's tied together, and that's called a community. Money doesn't work that way. Money creates separation on a systemic level as well because of the way money is created in our system. So it goes down to the really basic level of what money is today. And a lot of people they don't even know, even some economists don't really understand where money comes from and what money is. The economist John Kenneth Galbraith said that the process by which money is created is so simple that it boggles the mind. You learn it and you're like, what? That's how it happens? But basically money is created as interest-bearing debt. To make a long story short, a bank lends money into existence by writing a number down in your account, by typing some numbers in, and there's the money. And that money is created with debt. Now you owe the bank that amount of money plus interest. So say it's a business loan, the bank lends a company $1 million, and the company owes maybe $2 million after 10 years. No problem, because the company is going to make lots more than that using that capital and pay back the bank and make a nice profit. The problem is that all money is created essentially the same way. So at any given moment, there's more debt than there is money. So everybody is in competition for not enough of it. Now you can say, of course, that competition is part of human nature, and nature itself has competition, that's true. But we have a system that creates extra competition where there need not be competition. After all, we have such material plenty in this world. We've always had it. And after hundreds or thousands of years of technology, we should have even more plenty now. We should certainly be less anxious and less competitive than hunter-gatherers who had very little technology at all. But you look at hunter-gatherers, they worked like 20 hours a week. They had huge amounts of leisure. They had very little anxiety. Can't we at least do as well as hunter-gatherers? What happened? So one way to look at the way money works is to compare it to a game that maybe you've played before called musical chairs. So imagine you have 20 people and 19 chairs, and you're all dancing around, the music is playing, and then when the music stops, everybody has to go find a chair. But there's only 19 chairs and 20 people. So someone is going to be missing a chair. And now suppose that the consequences of getting no chair, it's not just that you lose the game, the consequences are really bad. Maybe you don't even get to eat. Maybe your children don't have a home to go to. So you really have to get that chair. So you see everybody playing, everyone's elbowing each other out of the way, and pushing each other, and they're not cooperating, and nobody's saying, oh, take my chair. And you look at that and you say, well, human beings are just bad. But is that because human beings are just bad, or is that because the way the game is set up generates that bad behavior? How would they behave if there were 20 chairs? So you have to ask then, what's the nature of the world? Is the nature of the world a gigantic game of 20 people and 19 chairs? Or have we artificially created that situation? In other words, is this universe a place of fundamental scarcity? Or is it a place of fundamental abundance? It looks like a place of fundamental scarcity from the lens of our civilization, but we've created it that way. Other cultures did not experience it like that. They experienced a world of abundance, and they had very little care for the future. Well, most societies were gift cultures. In a gift culture, people have an experience of abundance because anybody in those cultures who has more than they need will share it. Partly because, like, what good is it doing me? I'm not using it, I'm carrying it around, I have an extra axe or, something. I'm carrying it around. Why not share it? It's not useful if I'm not using it, right? So it's kind of, kindergarten logic. I mean, it's obvious. Also, if I'm sharing a lot, people will take care of me too. If I'm in need, if something happens to me, if I'm hurt, if I'm in grief, maybe someone I love died and I need people to take care of me, they'll be happy to do that when I've done that to them. It's not that I've made a calculation that, well, I'm going to give because I'm going to get all this in return. It's kind of programmed into the very fabric of society. So people in gift cultures, they have an ongoing experience of an abundant universe. We could have an experience of an abundant universe too.